Hey, 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 welcome to the live. Welcome to the live. You're live with Tony Star, and I have a message for you. I can't say it's going to be a quick one, but we're going to get into what the energies are, what's going on, and give you some insight about this full time task, about this full time job, about seeking oneness with all that there is, right? And so when I'm talking about seeking oneness with all that there is, when I'm speaking about task, this is coming from a place where with the oneness for all, we're dealing with 12th house energy. The 12th house energy represents the house of our intuition. It represents the house of our the unseen realm. It represents the house of our dreams, of our imagination, right? 12th house. The things that are behind the scenes, the things that are underground. The 12th house is about those things you may not be aware of, things like hidden enemies. The 12th house deals with those things that you might need to or have to keep confidential. Okay. So the 12th house is also the house of Pisces. Okay. And when it comes to Pisces energy, they're very intuitive, they're a mutable sign. So they're able to be compassionate, be adaptable. They have a tendency to see what others need, may need help with, right? So that's the energy of Pisces. That's us dealing with this 12th house. The 12th house is the last house. So it's the culmination of all the zodiac signs together. So that's what has to do with this philanthropy. The key words for this 12th house energy is your philanthropy. It's your involvement in hidden things. Keeping your he not here. Keeping your involvement hidden, right? So for some of you, this also has to do with your faith, the things you're intuitive about, the things you're willing to speak about, right? Your involvement when it comes to your faith. Some of you have been very secretive or felt like it's not everybody's business what it is that you believe or how you believe. That's for some of you. We also have, with it being a full-time task or a full-time job, and I didn't want to call it a job because job to me gives it a somewhat, not a negative connotation, but a job is something you're always, to me, working at but not receiving a lot of benefit. So for many of you, this is about serving. Sixth house. The sixth house is the house of serving. It's the house of Virgo as well, right? So the serving is doing it a little bit at a time. Many of you are entering into philanthropy. Now, the thing with philanthropy is you have this heart to help. It's not necessarily like charity. Charity is more of helping to relieve an immediate need, right? But philanthropy is helping the overall, a group, or helping for the long term. That's and for some of you, you're keeping your involvement about helping someone or helping a group for the long term hidden. Okay, I'll come help you. I'm on live. I'm not doing a video. Oh. You got more? Okay. Okay, so, and then the other card we have that came out here is Scorpio. So we're dealing with three energies here. We're dealing with Scorpio. We're dealing with the sixth house. and we're dealing with the eighth house. Okay, so with these three energies that are here, the eighth house with Scorpio. The eighth house is about transformation. It's about change. It's about rejuvenation. And Scorpio being the sign that came out here, Scorpio is a very passionate sign. Scorpio have a tendency to be very loyal. They can be very intense. A not so positive trait is they could be very secretive. But we also have this energy of 12th house about being secretive here as well. So there's something about hidden tendencies. There's something about secrets and keeping secrets for what it is good that you do for others. So it's like some of you are you're philanthropists. You're very helpful to others, but you're not going around bragging about it. You're doing it and you're doing it from a place of care and compassion, from a place in your heart. That's for some of you, right? When it comes to Scorpio energy here, they're very mysterious as well. Like they don't need everyone to know what they're doing, or people may not even understand why they're doing what they're doing. Okay. And so they tend to be very charismatic and protective over their loved ones. So some of you, you're helping out others that you care about, and you may not necessarily want them to know that it's you that's helping them. That's for some of you, right? But with Scorpio energy, they're able to read between the lines. They can hear and see what people aren't saying or showing. Now again, they can tend to be very secretive and or possessive, stubborn, prone to anger, and even moody, because everything has its light and its dark, its negative and its positive, right? So there's something about purifying the things that you're doing when you're dealing with large institutions, large organizations, overwhelming events. Some of you are helping those that are dealing with overwhelming events, and it may not even be known, like it's not out in the public, but by the actions you're taking, the things that you're saying, you're helping others with overwhelming events. The eighth house also deals with taxes. It deals with inheritances. It deals with legacies. It deals with a lot, right? The things we don't see. It deals with estate planning. It deals with wills. It deals with death. It deals with rebirth. It deals with psychology, sexuality, and your hidden powers. The same thing with the 12th house, that house of your mysticism, your intuition, your dreams, even. And so there's like this reminder that's here that as you're being of service, and those that you're being of service to, it's like for some of you, it's a part of your calling. Your reminder here is that your success, or the reminder to those that you're helping, it's like their success or your success, it's not a lone event. It's not solely of your own merits. It's actually, it's a group effort with humanitarian here. It's not solely your own created thing. We're co-creators, right? And so when it comes to philanthropy, many of you are doing it for the love of humanity. You're generous in all forms, in your time, in your funds, for some of you, with your talents, right? Using them to help make life better for others. You're willing to donate your time, your money, and or your resources. The Scorpio energy here as well. This is the house that's ruled by Pluto. So Pluto's that house of, again, the transformation, the death, the rebirth. It's also the co-ruler of Scorpio with Mars. So the things we're willing to fight for, the things we're willing to, the way we evolve as a collective with humanitarian here, and or personally. The Scorpio is about your personal growth. It's about karmic destiny, just as well as this 12th house energy that's here. This has to do with the things that aren't hidden. It deals with the karmic past. It deals with our subconscious mind and past life memories. So when it comes to this 12th house, again, that's Pisces. And it's like with the Pisces energy, it's the last house, but it's also like if they're running a race, they're ahead of the curve. They're ahead when it comes to seeing the bigger picture, philanthropy, humanity, when it comes to humanity, right? So it's like they can sense where there's a need to be of service. This 12th house energy and the unseen realm, it's like they can see it in the spiritual before it actually occurs. That's for some of you. The behind the scenes. The 12th house energy, and speaking of behind the scenes, deals with affairs, like stepping out on your partner. It deals with addictions. It deals with psychological ailments. Insane in the membrane is what I just heard, right? So psychological ailments where you're not healthy with what you're thinking, or psychosis, things like that. So it also deals with hypnosis, the things you're able to go into a trance about, to transmute, hypnosis. The 12th house can also indicate how people confront and learn from their past actions. So some are living and learning from their past actions about how to be of service to humanity. You're learning about how to be of service, and you're learning the higher and the lower aspects of being of service. The higher aspects are, yes, you're doing a good thing for humanity, but the lower aspects are recognizing how you need to have boundaries. Whenever you have a giving hand, a giving heart, people can tend to take advantage of that. And so it's also about knowing when and where and how to say no. Because if you're always giving, there will always be someone that's willing, ready, and able to take. Okay. So let's go a little bit deeper and find out, what is this Scorpio message have for us? There's something also about the extraordinary power of prayer here. For those of you who pray, like, and for those of you who don't, however you seek higher wisdom, higher enlightenment, there's something about the way that you do it, the way that you meditate, the way that you connect to the unseen realm. You're finding a way to How does it go? What's the best way to eat an elephant? Which I don't know why we eat elephants, especially since their skin is so tough. But it says to do it one bite at a time. So many of you are taking a little bit at a time. It may feel like you're taking baby steps, but no matter what, there's still forward movement. So a little bit at a time, whether this is in your work, your humanitarian work, because the sixth house deals with that as well. It deals with our routines when it comes to health, when it comes to work. The sixth house is also our service to others. It's associated with our health and our wellness. It's about the work life balance. So, the sixth house can also be associated with the issues relating to our sexuality. It can deal with the issues around our physical health. It can deal with the issues around our mental and our emotional. Remember, light and dark. So the darker aspects of that, or the shadows, if you're not dealing with that, you may find yourself dealing with impotence or not being sexually open. You may find yourself not feeling physically well or not feeling well in the mind, mentally. So the sixth house also deals with our routines, and a higher aspect of that, you're having healthy routines, you're having healthy habits. There's a sense of discipline about how you do things. You do it a little at a time so that you don't overwhelm yourself, so that you're not in these overwhelming events. We just spoke about that. 12th house energy. Something else about that is the sixth house is the halfway mark of the zodiac, where the 12th house is the last of it. Something about that as well is that Virgo is on the zodiac, complete opposite of Pisces as well. And these two houses represent Virgo and Pisces energy. So the sixth house as a shadow aspect also deals with debt. It's known as the house of the debt debt collector. And it's the collector because it's where we pay for the things that we have overused, the things we have misused, especially in accordance with past lives. The sixth house is also associated or deals with the shadow aspects of where we have challenges or obstacles, again, with health and things of that sort. And even of being of service. If you're constantly have been a taker, and you don't have that balance of giving as well, there can be some obstacles or issues related to that as well. So while the 12th house that we have here is represented by liberation, the sixth house is the house that binds us to our karmic debts. And Virgo, which is the sign of this sixth house, Virgo is ruled by Mercury. Now, the thing about Mercury is it's actually one of the smallest planets. Even though it's pretty close to the sun, it's one of the smaller planets. It's even a little smaller than Earth, right? And so, being that Mercury deals with communication, this gives me that energy, and it's a small planet of saying less. That's why this hidden energy is here. You don't have to say everything you think and or feel. Saying less. It's also giving me that energy, being that Mercury is the planet of communication, where, how does it say, we have two ears so that we can listen more, and one mouth or one tongue so that you speak less. So there's something about saying less here. But with this sixth house energy and being Virgo energy, it is that you're very perceptive. Virgo is the energy of being very perceptive, very detail oriented, very analytical. The darker or the shadow aspects of that is also overthinking. Overthinking so much so until the point that you may miss deadlines or not get anything done because you've been thinking about it. Should I do it this way? Could I do it that way? Should I do it this way? Should I say it that way? Like that. So let's find out. Scorpio, why is this extraordinary power of prayer here? What is this Scorpio energy telling us? What is this results that they're receiving from power? This purification and resurrection energy. Tell us about this Scorpio energy. We have the King of Swords and the Four of Wands. King of Swords and the Four of Wands. So when it comes to controlling, because this Scorpio energy is giving me controlling the situation. So some of you may be dealing with someone that wants to control this situation. King of Swords here. Someone who wants to be an authoritarian over how you move, when you speak, when you get views, when you don't, something like that. You're dealing with someone who has a lack of integrity. So you're now in the essence of using the extraordinary power of prayer to control the situation. And you're getting the results from tapping into your power. You're not afraid to allow the secrets that need to come out to come out. You're not finagling in your mind with this Virgo energy here. You know that it's mind over matter. So you're doing it by the book. You're being very truthful. You're using your logic in a way that makes sense to get results. You're using your logic to actually, Four of Wands, gain stability here. Because it's like some of you in your mind, you're not going back and forth with yourself. Oh, they're not supporting me. You're like, cool. It's all good. I don't want the unwelcomed energies. If I'm not your vibe, if I'm not your thing, cool, great. Exit stage left, please and thank you. You're like, I only want support for those that I'm in the same vibration with. I want to vibe with my tribe. I want to be united with those that have a strong sense of community and know how to support. So this is how many of you are dealing with the lows and the highs of transformation. When you go through transformation, Scorpio energy here, you're like, it's like you're transforming, right? You're changing. Things are changing around you. Things are changing around you in the atmosphere, spiritually and within. As within, so without, right? So as things are changing, the people around you as well may be changing. You're recognizing the highs and the lows. You don't necessarily need, you're balancing out the low vibrations with the high vibrations so that you have a balance. You recognize that everyone has their path. So you're allowing those that have a lack of support for you or make you feel unwelcome to walk their path and go their way. But you're not allowing that to stop you. You know that as you continue on the path, you'll gain more stability. You're having more stability because when a change happens, in the beginning, you can feel a little bit shaky. Think about a baby going from crawling to walking. In the beginning, they're shaky when they start to stand on their own 2 feet. And many of you are that baby, right? You're standing on your own 2 feet. You're gaining your balance. You're gaining more stability. You're learning to walk on your own. You're walking your walk, talking your talk. So it's like as you continue to move, you'll be more supported. You'll find those that you're more in community with. You're not you're not stressing about anyone that wants to control the situation, because no matter what happens, you know that your words have power. That's another thing with this extraordinary power of prayer, because Scorpio deals with that. It deals with the things of our intuition, right? It deals with the things in the dark. Many of you are taking control of this situation and you're still moving forward. You may be stumbling along the way, but you know that you're going to gain your stability and your balance, right? You're going to get this thing to actually make it into something, Four of Wands here, that you can celebrate. And for some of you, this could have to do with partnerships as well, because if you look at this card here, it does look like the celebration here is a wedding celebration, right? So being that the Scorpio energy deals with our sexuality, some of you may have not been very intimate, or now you're very more in control about who you're choosing to engage more intimately with. And by doing this, this is now strengthened the bonds for you to be more aware of what's compatible with you. This is for some of you, because you've done that, you're gaining more compatible soulmates for some of you, that could lead to a marriage for some of you, right? That's for some. And this is where that support is going to come from. This is where that community is going to come from. It's like you're going along, you're doing your thing, you're walking, getting your balance, and it's going to create that community for you. Some of you may find that you're working with your partner. That's for some of you. Let's find out about this sixth house energy. Serving, doing a little at a time. Tell us about the sixth house. Finding what is good for us. That's what many of you are doing. You're finding what's good for you. Service to others. Tell us about this sixth house energy and being of service to others. Being of service to others, as well as knowing where to take care of self as well. How to create healthy habits, healthy boundaries. Being of service to others. Being of service to others. Is there anything else? Okay, so it's funny, the two cards that came out are the Hangman and the Hermit. The Hangman represents Pisces energy, and then the Hermit represents Virgo energy, which is interesting because we have the sixth house, which represents Virgo energy. So some of you could be Virgos, you're dealing with the Virgo. And the 12th house, some of you could be Pisces, and or you're dealing with the Pisces, and or you have these two energies very highly aspected in your chart, a part of your big three, your sun, moon, and or rising. That's for some of you. But when it comes to this being of service, many of you are now having a new perspective. It's like Hangman, you're taking the time to actually receive the enlightenment about where it is you're wanting to help, where it is you're truly needed, where it is you can be of humanitarian service, right? Where it is that you're being of service to the greater good for humanity's sake. That's for some of you. Where you're offering service to others. So you're having this awakening, but you're surrendering to the process. That's one of the reasons you're doing it a little at a time. doing it a little at a time to create more of a work-life balance. Many of you have done the soul searching and now you're like a guiding light to others. The hermit energy here, right? You don't mind solitude as well. So as much as you guys may be able and willing to help others, you recognize that there's also this time, especially with the 12th house energy here. It's like with the 12th house here, you're learning to take care of your own needs first. Like self care is the priority, the hermit here. Self care is a priority. So, with the hangman here, you may find yourself needing to withdraw from the world. You go out into the world, you're not afraid of it, you're not afraid of offering support, but there are needs where you need to, you have this strong sense of the need to withdraw, to spend time alone, to have your own private time to go into prayer, your own private time to read, your own private time to just meditate and be the self. That's what this sixth house is showing us. Self-care is prioritized. So being of service is very important to you with the sixth house energy here. But just as important to you, prioritizing self-care is as well. That's what this hangman and this hermit is saying here. It's like you've had the aha moment that sometimes I have to just release, let it go, and go in and be with myself. And it is what it is. And you're okay with that. You don't mind, and for some of you, this is why the work like balance is happening. Sometimes we're like, go, go, go. I got to go to work. I got to go to work. And then sometimes it's just like, I need a break. I need a break. No matter what bills are coming, what needs to get done, nothing's going to get done if I break down. That's that shadow aspect of the sixth house. Your work life balance, your routines, are they healthy for you? And so with this 12th house energy here, many of you are saying, okay, learning, having the aha moment, the epiphany of, you know what, I need time for myself. It just is what it is. I just need time for me. Calgon, take me away. That's for some of you, right? And so that's what's occurring here. And then we have this 12th house. Let's get a little bit more into this, where you're seeking oneness with all. So you're finding oneness within self. And when I say oneness within self, you know your shadow and your lower self. You're not running from the ego. You're not running from your shadows. You're looking at yourself and you're facing it head on. And then you're bringing that into balance with what your higher self is saying to you, what the divine is saying, your spirit team. You're finding that balance. You're not stuck in the shadows, but you're not worried just about being all love and light. Yes, I'm here to help others, but yes, I need to take care of myself as well. That's what this is coming into. Yes, I'm a philanthropist. I help for the greater good, for the sake of helping, for the long term, not just charity for the immediate result, which there's no comparison with that either. If you're being charitable and you're assisting someone with one of their immediate issues that they need help with, that's also a beautiful thing as well, right? But many of you, you see a long-term view. How do you make change for the long term, for humanity's sake? That's philanthropy, if I could say the word. Philanthropy. Let me give you the definition of that. I don't have my other device here, but I did write this word down. So give me a second. And let me get the definition for you. So philanthropy is focused on helping people and solving their problems over a long-term view. It's about strategy. You're strategic in how you help. It involves making multiple gifts for some to help people While again, as I said, charity is more focused on the immediate relief, and it may be like a one time gift, which is all fine and dandy. Helping someone else is still helping, right? And charity can often be driven by emotion. Oh, I see someone doing bad. Let me help in this moment. Philanthropy is looking at the bigger picture. We need to make changes here so that this thing doesn't continue to progress this way. A bigger picture type of person there. Okay, so let's get into this 12th house energy. And some of you do it and you keep the tendencies that you have to help hidden. Like I said in the reading, it's not for everyone and everything. You don't need everybody to know everything you're doing. Because some people, when they feel like you have more to give or offer to somebody, you do have those people that will take, take, take. You're being a giver, and then just as well as you got a giver, you'll always have those people that are willing to take. So some of you, you help behind the scenes. You help without having to put it on display. Look at me, social media. I got my camera. Look at me with my video. I'm helping this person. You see me? Look at me. Look at me. I'm helping. You're not that person. You're like, all right, I see this person needs help. Let me do what I can do because I can do it. And you do it. You do it from the kindness of your heart. You're not doing it to get views. And I'm not saying that anyone on the online that's helping somebody is doing it for that, but that's not your thing, the one that's resonating with this reading. You're not doing this so that someone will be like, oh, I did this. Did you see the video? Did you hit the like? Blah, 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 like that. You're not doing it for the likes. Yeah. You're doing it for the love, not for the likes. Tell me about this 12th house energy. Clarify this 12th house energy. What is this seeking oneness with all there is? Tell us about this philanthropy. Tell us about the larger institution, the overwhelming events. Tell us about the faith and the hidden tendencies. 12th house energy. Clarify this 12th house energy. Okay, so coming out when it comes to the 12th house energy, we have the Ace of Coins at the bottom of the deck. You help people out of unstable situations. You allow them to have a new start, to be able to flourish. You help people be able to iron out the details of where they may be having issues, whether this is issues with their health, because we have the 6th house here, whether this is issues mentally. It's like it's giving healer type information. But whenever you help people gain more abundance because they get more stability mentally, physically, spiritually. That's for some of you. Now, we have coming out to clarify this 12th house, the 7 of Wands, the 4 of Swords, and the Wheel of Fortune. Yeah. So, you know when something's worth fighting for. 7 of Wands here. And when it's worth fighting for, you make a stand. You make a stand for things that for you, but you also make a stand for things that help the collective, for humanitarian sake. When it's time to make a stand and you know that it's worth fighting for, you face it head on. You don't back down. And because you don't back down, that could have some haters. Haters gonna hate, right? Who you think you is? Who she thinks she is? Like, so you're gonna get some of that when you're creating liberty on a bigger scale and individually, even on a small scale. Anytime you're helping someone break free from chains, whatever those chains may be, when you're that person that helps people break free from chains, whatever those chains may be, physically, because physically people are breaking chains more today because they're helping people to over and understand how food can be detrimental. So they're helping them to break free from the high fructose corn syrup. They're helping them to break free by um, helping them to learn to read the ingredients. They're helping them to break free by showing them how to grow their own food. They're helping them to break free by showing them how to homestead and build things and grow things for themselves. They're helping them to break free by showing them how to make food even more healthier. They're helping them to break free by showing them how to can their food, how to have long-term storage so that you don't have to go to the grocery store and or depend on someone else for your basic needs. Food is one of the basic needs. Water is one of the basic needs. So when you start helping people break free, you're gonna have some haters. You're gonna have people that be like, you don't know what you're talking about. Or you just have higher up haters, those people that benefit from people being sick or going to the grocery stores or eating GMO. When you start breaking these types of chains, it can bring some controversy along with it. When you help people break chains physically by showing them what happens with their cells when certain things are happening, when there is electromagnetic frequencies around them, when you're showing them how to meditate so that they're not physically in a state of fight or flight, when you help them break the chains by praying so that they know that they're not alone. And if prayer is not your thing, then that's not your thing, but it doesn't mean that it can't benefit someone else. So when you start to break these types of chains, yeah, you're going to have some controversy. When you help people break chains spiritually by giving them messages, allowing them to hear things that they may not have heard, or they heard and then they didn't have a full understanding. And because of your words or your enlightenment on that subject, they were able to gain more clarity about it. Yeah, the chain breakers, when you allow people to start feeling more liberty, more able to have sovereignty, more self sufficiency, that does come with controversy. Seven of Wands here. And that's what makes you have to stand your ground. Sometimes because you're a truth breaker or you're helping people be free, you can't always avoid the conflict. No matter how much you try to avoid this conflict, it's a lost cause. So you're choosing to fight your battles. Just because someone else may not agree with you, it's okay to agree to disagree. It's not going to stop me. That's like a song. It's okay to disagree. It's still not going to stop me. It's okay to agree to disagree, and I'm still going to be me. It's okay to agree to disagree, and I'm still going to speak what comes through me. It's okay to agree to disagree. It still ain't going to stop me. So you don't back down. And now it's like where some didn't want you to take action, they didn't want you to be able to set people free. They wanted you to lie dormant and not use these abilities that you have to create liberty, mind, mentally, physically, and spiritually. No, you decided, yeah, I'm going to take time when I need to rest. That's that balance between the work life and the balance that's here. Yeah, I'm going to take time when I need to prioritize my self care, but it's not because of you making me stop. It's not because you're creating stagnancy for me. You can't stop me. I take this time to retreat so that I can recalibrate. That's this 12th house energy here. And this is what's creating the wheel of fortune. Things are continuing to move. 12th house energy, it's beyond their control. Challenges will rise. Hidden enemies, 12th house. The things you have to, sometimes you felt like you had to be quiet about. That's what this stagnancy with the Four of Wands was. Some of you didn't speak because you didn't want to create You were trying to avoid the conflict. And now it's like I get this energy that many of you are like, nah, this conflict is going to come no matter what. So I'm going to continue to break people free. I'm going to continue to allow the chains to be broken. I'm taking this decisive action, decisive movement. The wheel keeps spinning, it's moving. So you can make a decision to roll with the punches or get rolled over. You gonna roll with me or get rolled over? You gonna roll with me or get rolled the over? That's how some of you are at this time. The 12th house deals with this karma and destiny. So some of you, 12th house, past life things. In the past, some of you were that very docile, very passive person. You thought you were doing it for the greater good. But in this cycle, in this lifetime, you're like, nope, standing up, standing what I believe in, 10 toes down. It is what it is. I'm making a stand. I'm taking a stand. I'm facing it head on, face to face, boo, me and you. What you want to do? Face to face, boo, me and you. What you want to do? And this isn't in a place of arrogance. This isn't in that place of courage. You've tapped into your personal power and you're creating, calling forth, pulling in, resonating with those that have that same take a stand energy, that same essence of community. You're calling it forth because it's time for the change. It's time. This is the turning point. There's a big push that's happening within the community, especially for those that create liberty for others. Liberty through their food, through their music, through the mental, their mentality, through their spiritual, through your work, through your ways of being of service. There is this push, this turning point where we're learning the karmic lessons. We're learning from our past. And if you're not, you're going to be one of those ones that get rolled over. You can roll with these changes, you can roll with the punches, or you can get punched out. And I'm not doing it. It's the divine, it's the will that's going to roll you over. It's this energy. When you have something that's rolling downhill like a little snowball or something, it starts out small and then it gains more momentum. And this momentum is here, it's moving, it's thriving. It's here, it's moving, it's thriving. It's here, it's moving, it's thriving. Philanthropy for the greater good. So let's get a priestess of the light to wrap this up. What is the priestess of the light? Let me see. We've been on live 48 minutes. What is the message to wrap this up? What is the message to wrap this up? Give us a message to wrap this up, please, and thank you. Thank you. Okay. So we have innovation with new creation. Yes, many of you are being very innovative in the way that you are of service to humanity. You're building your world. I heard building a new world for some of you, and you are summoning power through your intellect, through your instincts. You're now able to stand with more control. You're not being controlled. You're allowing people to take control, helping them to set themselves free to take control of their lives. You're having the faith that this is possible. Innovations with new creation, building your world. Let's get the declarations on these. Let me read these for you. So, the innovations, new creations, right? Innovation with new creations. This priestess of the mind extends her hands upward, The light from her palms sending two hawks flying in opposite directions. Beautiful golden orbs hover over and around her head, making a time of great confidence and mental activity for you. You are being guided by spirit to explore new directions of invention and creation. Your inventions may come in the form of a wide variety of endeavors, such as a new business, a medical discovery. See, sixth house energy. This is about health, right? So some of you will be creating new medical discoveries, such as a business, a medical discovery, a new computer game. We are in the age of Aquarius, new technology all around us, right? Or the founding of a charitable agencies. Some of you, 12th house energy here with the philanthropy. If you look at this, the key word right there is philanthropy, right? So that's the key energy of this. Some of you will literally be inventing and or creating a charitable agency. The long-term views, you're not just doing it for you, right? This is going to help people not just with a charitable action relieving something immediate for their immediate issue. This is going to assist with the long term. For some of you, I'm seeing housing, like houses. You're going to be able to assist people because that's also a fundamental need: water, food, and shelter. So some of you will be finding ways to assist others with receiving shelter, the basic things of life. This isn't about the extravagance or the opulence of it all. It's simply about the fundamentals that each and every person deserves to have. So this is going to be a charitable event for many of you. Anything from a musical composition could be created to a real estate development. That's for some of you. Could be among the types of innovations springing to your mind at this time. You may even be thinking about going to school for a special degree or certificate. If so, know that you are certainly capable of achieving it. I just heard some of going to school to get more knowledgeable about nutrition, about the body for some of you, about holistic healing in whatever way, shape, or form that may show up for you. You may find yourself conflicted as you consider two very different paths, both brimming with potential. The hawks, the birds of prey in war, represent the inner battle. The two hawks that are there. So some of you could have two very different paths that you're embarking upon. And this is card number 20. That's also the two, right? And so these hawks that they're talking about, the birds of prey and war, we have that Scorpio energy come out here. Scorpio is also co-ruled by Mars. Mars is known as that planet of war. So while you're deciphering these battles, the inner battle regarding your choices, any of your confusion may only be preventing you from taking action. That was the sixth house energy here. This is wrapping up the reading perfectly. Because the sixth house with Virgo here, that's that energy where with Virgo, they can overthink. That's one of their shadow aspects. You're thinking it over, you're thinking it over. Should I create this foundation? Should I write this song? Should I take the next step on this medical discovery? Should I create this computer game? And you're thinking about it and you're thinking about it and you're thinking about it, but it's preventing you from taking an action in either direction. So that nagging voice of self-doubt that may be keeping you on the fence, note how the priestess heart in this card, her heart is glowing. And it's glowing with confidence. And so this card is saying to you that you now have the power to make a decision and see it through. You have the power of whatever this thing is that you're innovating to see it through. You have this power. Make the decision. Trust in yourself and let yourself receive the guidance and information that is all around you. How do they say it? When the student is ready, the teacher will appear. So many of you may feel like you've gone this far with this project, with this thing that you're innovating, and you may not necessarily know the next step. Make a decision, and when you show up for yourself, any guidance, any insight, any clarity that you need to gain, the teacher will appear, the mentor, whatever it is, the money, the assistance, because we do have philanthropy here. So maybe some of you have taken things as far as you can take them, and you feel like you can't go the next step because you don't have the funds necessary to set the thing in motion. Someone could be assisting you with that. You may not even know who that person is or that is coming with this Scorpio energy here. Okay, because that's another aspect of philanthropy. You giving, yes, but be open to receiving as well. We all have our needs, right? Okay, and so your mind is sparking with lights and new ideas. Listen to your heart about which path to follow. And the affirmation or the declaration, I like to say, because when you declare a thing, you standing on business about it. You're like, I declare that this is going to happen, okay? So you're not just affirming it, but you can affirm it and then confirm it within yourself, within your soul. When you give confirmation to something, you're like, yep, it's happening. You're not doubting it. A affirmation is like you saying it like I want it, I think it could happen. A confirmation is like, yeah, it's gonna happen. And a declaration is like, yeah, it's sure enough gonna happen. Okay. So the declaration is I open my mind to the pipeline of new ideas available to me now. I know I am capable of both in- initiative, initiative and follow through. I open my mind, have an open mind to the pipeline. It's not a little trickle, this a whole pipeline of ideas, and they're available to you now. I open my mind to the pipeline of ideas that are available to me now. I know I am capable. I know I am capable. I know I am capable of both initiative and follow through. So, not just starting the thing, I start the thing and I finish what I do. I bring it to completion. I start the thing and I finish it too. Bop, bop, bop. And then we have building your world. So these innovations are going to assist many of you with building your world, but it's also going to assist you. It's also for some of you going to allow you to assist others with building their world. That's what this humanitarian is all about here. So many of you are building your world. Creation energy, right? Expansion energy. You're networking, humanitarian. You're finding those things. So if you look at this card, it's the priestess of the bees, and she sits peacefully in the hollow of a tree, gathering the energy of the bees that fly around her and rests on her fingertips and third eye. She's surrounded by the honeycomb, and through her vision, and though her vision, and through her vision, mm, and though her vision is turned inward, her thoughts are focused on outer plans taking shape. The bee is one of nature's most industrious creatures, and this card foretells a time of great productivity and expansion for you. If you've been thinking about growing your business or creating an entirely new one, focus on those intentions now. Your dreams may also include composing music. That's two cards that spoke about music. Writing, teaching, painting, cooking, baking, all the ings. What are the ings? Moving, traveling, dancing, thriving, all the ings, which are all the projects that build on ideas and produce nectar for the body, mind, and soul. They do require repeated attention and action. So take time to create a plan, set some goals, and bring both the creative and technical elements together. So some of you are very creative. Don't get stuck in your mind. Do the technical aspect of it as well to bring it all together. The bee, and you'll find your team, because when I think of bees, they're like a team. Some bees go out and they gather the nectar or the pollen, and then they bring it back, and some bees turn it into the nectar for, and then the next set turns it into honey or something like that. Some build a honeycomb. My whole point is you always see bees working together. They're like ants. And this is not to say that any of you are small in any way, shape, or form. Actually, without the bees, like, they're very vital to nature. That's how a lot of plants get pollinated, right? So if they weren't bouncing around and doing their thing, a lot of wild plants that we forage for, we wouldn't even have. Okay. So the bee is also a symbol of fertility. So some of you are birthing something very innovative, a new creation, right? You're birthing something. Some of you may literally be birthing children as well. But the bee is also a symbol of fertility. So the expansion foretold here may relate to family matters, a child or children on the way, new in-laws through marriage. And then we have that Four of Wands come out here where this couple was on the card looking like they were getting married too. So we had that come out here as well, right? Some of you are reconnecting with distant friends or relatives. Wait, new in-laws through marriage or even reconnecting with distant friends or relatives that are all ways that you may expand your personal network. On a practical level, this card could also indicate a career in architecture, design, construction. It could also signify connections with people who do such work. So some of you could be creating that foundation I said that helps other people receive um, shelter. You would need some people to help you construct it, to build out the land, to connect the wires, things like that. So some of you literally, as philanthropists, or you're going to be connecting with the philanthropist who already has these kind of connections. That's for someone. On a practical level, this card could also indicate a career in architecture, design, or construction. It could also signify connections with people who do such work. You may even be building a new house or expanding your present one. The bees join together to assemble their hive structure and provide for their community, increasing value for all. Now is the perfect time for you to build the world you desire. So make your plans and set to work. Make your plans and set to work. And the declaration is, I have the power to create. I have the power to create. I have the power to create my world and prioritize the projects that I desire. I have the power to create my world and prioritize the projects that I desire. As I continue to take action, my joy and fulfillment expand. So let me read the whole thing for you one more time. The affirmation for building your world is, I have the power to create my world and prioritize the projects that I desire. As I continue to take action, my joy and fulfillment expand, not expire, expand. You're expanding. The last one, last but not least, you're summoning the power to do this. You're summoning the power to have the mental capacity to do this as well, to have peace in your mind. Summoning power, instinct, intellect, control. The priestess of the night is summoning the power of the full moon and channeling it into wild wolves beside her. She is calm and she is in control. The wolves stand at attention with the energy of quiet strength resonating from above. This card is telling you that you have far more power than you realize. You have far more power than you realize. There may be something in your life, perhaps a relationship or a recent challenge, that you have felt powerless to handle. If so, it's time to focus on your own intellect and instincts on this issue at hand. Then muster the courage to take the necessary actions. It may also be time to harness the unhealthy patterns, personal patterns that you have left unchecked. Indulges and addictions might seem to have had the upper hand, but your wild impulses can absolutely be tamed. Remain peaceful but persistent. Remain peaceful but persistent in this noble pursuit of self honoring and self control. Be honest about your ability to prioritize your higher needs. When you summon the quiet yet powerful light of your soul, your intuitive strength becomes the central force in your own life and a resonant voice in the world. Humanitarian. So it becomes the central force of your own life, but it also resonates as a voice in the world. And the declaration for this one is I am strong and self directed. I am strong and self directed. I bring my inner power to every area of my life. And that has been today's reading. I want to thank you guys for joining me. This was a live, and I didn't really get anything in the chat, which is fine because it allowed me to focus on the reading. But I do want to thank you for joining me, Tone Star, here with Tone Star Enterprises. And those that are watching this on the replay, yes, do the thing, like, share, subscribe. And remember to always shoot for the moon. And even if you miss, you are still amongst the stars. Thank you for joining me, Tone Star. Now, how do I end the live? Oh, up here. Okay.